welcome back to The Inspired Entrepreneur with Heather Hope. Hey everyone, it's me again, Heather Hope. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. How was your weekend? I think I asked you that yesterday. so, okay, let's jump into this. I hope you're having a really great week. I'm recording this on Monday, so it's a tiny little bit overcast where I am. So it's I woke up to almost like a gloomy day. Almost. You know how that is. Okay, so welcome. My name's Heather Hope. I am an inspirational writer and I guess speaker. I know I keep changing that around. You know what's really good is when you follow what you love doing. Follow what interests you, follow what you love doing, follow what unfolds. If you keep sticking with what you've always done, what you think you need to be doing or should be doing, all that, so I think so often that's when people get stagnant. And I've learned on this journey to keep just following what feels good and letting go of whatever is just like blah. So I'm constantly evolving and when you're constantly evolving, you're moving forward. You're achieving the things that you want. You're manifesting, you're attracting. You keep moving forward and your life just keeps looking different. And I love that my life keeps looking different, that plans change all the time. And I was telling my husband a couple days ago how incredibly thankful I am for him because he is for real following, just on this ride with me. I know there's a lot of spouses, a lot of other, partners who are very rigid with what they're doing. Um, Fortunately, I think I've always attracted men who, at least my relationships, like actual real relationships, I've been with men who were pretty fairly on the ride with me, like on like my ride, because I've always had the vision, I've always had the career goals, I've pretty much always known where I was going. And I had a plan and I've achieved pretty much everything that I've wanted to achieve and because I've always had this vision and have always worked towards it. And I've been with men who haven't been as career driven as I have. So with that, it kind of makes my life easier in that regard of like wherever I go, they are just like right there with me for the most part. But my current husband, it has been the most like agreeable and most like yes. He's just seen me manifest so many things that he's so anything I think about doing, he's like, "Yep, okay, do it." Because he just knows. He knows me so well and he trusts me so well that he knows that I know, you know, when I get an impulse to take it, when I get this inspiration, go with it. Because he sees what happens when I do that. So he's on the ride with me. So okay, so this morning, this is Monday, right? For me, this is Tuesday for you. I am having lots of thoughts about being a writer. Like, I am a writer. This is my ninth book that I'm about to publish. And it's really coming to my mind lately because I have a lot of things going on right now. And I love that. It's just, when you have a lot of things going on, it's sometimes it can get difficult to juggle them or to focus on them. But I've learned to trust the process. And when something comes to my mind, do it, work on it, focus my attention on it a little bit more. Because that just means the timing is getting lined up. Like the things are gathering. And So I work on one project one day. I may work on a project for an entire week, leave another project on the back burner, and then one day all of a sudden I get this inspiration to work on that other project and I get a lot more movement on that project. Does that make sense? So that's kind of my process of just allowing each day to guide me to what I feel like doing. So I was talking to him yesterday about my next book, and, and I'm really feeling super inspired to just be a writer. Like just be a writer. Like I've started another business and I've been doing a lot of different things with that, a lot of trainings, a lot of certifications, very quickly because I'm just so excited about it and taking classes and learning. I love to learn, and I think I'm building a business that I get to learn, but not years worth of learning. Does that make sense? So I love learning new things, but I love learning new things that only takes like 2 weeks to learn, instead of 2 years or 5 years or 6 years or, all the years that I was in college and stuff like that. Because it's just quick. It's like quick and easy. And this is just enough learning for me as like a lifetime academic that it's like, oh God, this is such a perfect amount of learning right now for me. It brings my brain cells back to life of like, oh, new input. Awesome. I love this. I love learning. So anyway, but really feeling like I changed my Facebook business profile this morning. Changed the name. I was trying to change it over the weekend to something else. I changed another page. I have several pages. But I did change one. That was an easy fix. Completely changed it from one name to another, which typically Facebook doesn't allow, but this case it did. Completely changed it. No similarity at all. And it was like, yep, okay, done. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding, Facebook. Okay, awesome. That's perfect. And then, but because I tried to change my main Facebook profile, or not profile, but my business page, Heather Hope, Law of Attraction Business Coach, I tried changing that to the one that I changed the other one to, and it wouldn't let me. It was very similar. I wasn't changing my name, Heather Hope, but I was trying to change it to the Inspired Entrepreneur. Heather Hope, the Inspired Entrepreneur, but it wouldn't let me. But today, it let me very quickly change it from Heather Hope, Law of Attraction Business Coach, to just Heather Hope instantly. And I'm like, okay, there we go. Because it was a thought that came to my mind. Because I thought about changing it because it was like saying that I think I changed my name too many times that it wouldn't let me couple days ago. So I'm like, let's try it again today. And I deleted the, Law of Attraction portion. And then I'm like, well, just go with Heather Hope. And it worked. And I'm like, okay, that's where I'm going. Just Heather Hope. That's, if you know me personally, on my personal page, I changed Heather Hope to my actual real legal maiden name. My maiden name is my legal name right now. Changed it back. It's been Heather Hope for about 4 years now. And I decided because of my new business that I wanted to go with Heather Hope, or I'm sorry, Heather, my real name, and for business purposes, because I need to use my real name. And so it's distinguishable, but my like pen name is Heather Hope for my books. Anyway, that is like a long intro to this episode. Sorry about that. Almost 9 minutes in, and I'm just talking. I've been taking the morning of like trying to regroup. I've been kind of like my mind has been kind of off today. It's weird. It's a weird day. I haven't felt like this in a long time, and so I was just kind of chilling today. Just kind of chilling. It's almost 1:00 in the afternoon, and just kind of letting my mind chill. And so here we are. Okay, let's get into it. Finally, guys, sorry about that. November 3rd, 2020. Let's read today's passage. Of course, this is coming from my book that's going to be published soon. The Inspired Entrepreneur, 366 Days of Inspiration for the Entrepreneur. And oh, by the way, so all the books that I'm writing, they're all on manifesting different areas of your life. I'm not going to focus on business forever. It's, yeah, this is my book on inspiration for entrepreneurs. The book that I'm really feeling like writing, or thinking about anyway, is about career change and following, like getting into the resonance of what you really want. And I think I learned this from my own program since I'm always a student. The Soul Line Business Academy I've had for almost a year and a half now. And through that process of creating that program, I have realized what really a soul aligned business is, and how you can change your career to what you really want. You could attract. It's not really changing, but you attract in the things that you really want, either it's a job or a business, whatever. But to be able to allow that to come in, what you really want, and going forward with it. Because it's a big topic, and I think it's super important to be able to give yourself permission to change your career. I've changed mine a couple times, and I like it because we're expanding. We're always expanding. We're working on ourselves. If you're here, then you're a learner, you're a student, and you're always, moving forward. So of course your career is going to move forward. Of course things are going to change. It's like, when you change partners, you change jobs, you just change over time. If you're learning, you're changing. And it's okay to change careers. It's okay because you're changing. You have new interests. You have new desires. You have, like there's an audio that Abraham has about manifesting a house, manifesting a mansion. It's on this channel. He wants a mansion, I think it's called. And they talk about how, and you can use this for anything. So this is just particularly a house. So right now you may want a mansion. And because he was thinking all these things that he wants in his house, and they're like, well, this is just one house. Is this your forever house? Most likely it's not going to be your forever house, because, you want a mansion now, but in the future, you're probably going to want to downsize because you're going to be like, this house is too big, and everybody moved out. And then you want a smaller house, and then you want people to live with you, so you get a bigger house. And then they're like, then you're going to be tired of people, and you're going to want a smaller house again. Or you might want to move to the ocean, or you might want to move into the woods. You might, because you're always expanding. It's the same thing with everything. And it's the same thing with people, with relationships. I told my husband the other day, I'm like, you're pretty lucky, man. Now, of course, we joke with each other all the time. We have an amazing sense of humor with each other. It just makes our marriage so much fun. But because after now I've learned from Abraham of like how much we expand, and very easily we cannot connect with our partner because we're just going in different directions. And so often we're trying to make it work because we're married. And it's like, if you're not both expanding together, like moving forward together, and I've had relationships, you outgrow them. You outgrow the relationship. I saw it all the time. I saw it with myself of, I was expanding. I was working on a doctorate program while my ex-husband was drinking at the bar. That doesn't work. That really doesn't work over time, because I'm expanding. My career is expanding. I'm around intelligent people, and then I come home and deal with a drunk. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, it does not work. I tried to make it work, and it doesn't work. The more I try to make it work, the harder it is. So because we were not connecting on a vibrational level, right? So this is going to be a book, of course, too. But, so you think of Your career is the same way. So anyway, so I told my husband, I'm like, yeah, I just don't, I'm not going to get married again in the future. And he's like, no, you're not, because you're not getting divorced. He always says that to me. We're not getting divorced. I'm like, yeah, okay. I joke, but, I'm like, no, I'm not getting married again, but I could get divorced again. I don't have a problem getting divorced at all. Once you have one divorce, you're like, what the hell? What's another one? So, you know what I mean? Like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And, but, but I wouldn't get married again because I don't, I listening to Abraham, I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense of the whole, like, because it's more of like a religious thing of, it's a sin to be divorced or whatever, right? And it's like, well, anyway, that's a whole nother topic, obviously, but we joke because I told him, I'm like, well, this is how it works. Like, if one person is expanding and growing and moving forward and doing all this personal development and bettering themselves and the other one isn't, they're not going to be a vibrational match. That's just vibration. That's vibration. And so when you try to make it work, it's like moving a wet noodle, right? It doesn't work. So it makes things harder. So anyway, that is, so I'm like, he's like, is this a warning? I'm like, yeah, keep up. because, because I've been with relationships of when men don't keep up and they're out at the bar or they're playing games all day or, that sort of mentality. And I'm over here working on careers and working on programs and books and all this stuff. It's like, you got to keep up. So anyway, here we go. Let's jump into this. Let's jump into November 3rd. Finally, I should put this down below of like when this actually starts, but I think it's all good. So it's good to change. It's good to change people. It's fine. I'm not going to say it's good, but it's fine to change careers. It's fine to change partners. It's fine to change houses. It's totally fine. It's part of the process. It's part of growth. It's part of expanding. It's part of the deal because you're a vibrational being who is just attracting what they're putting out. What you're putting out is what you're attracting. So it happens. It happens. Anyhow, it's only like 3 sentences. November 3rd, if you're doubting something, don't take action yet. Allow your guidance to take you there or someplace else or nowhere. It's all good. It's just all good. It's all good. If you're doubting something, don't take action yet. If you're doubting it, just don't do it yet. The energy's not lined up yet. It may not be lined up ever. It just might be a moment that it's just not right. Allow your guidance to take you there or someplace else or nowhere. So just follow your guidance. So you have to chill out. You have to chill out before you do anything, because if you're doubting something and you take action, the results are probably not going to be what you really wanted. And I see this all the time in business. I see it in my own business. I see, everywhere. People are doubting things all over the place. People are not lining up the energy because they don't understand that they need to line up the energy. They're freaking out. They're anxious. They're nervous. They're discouraged. I was just listening to one of my newest mentors. He was talking about emotional intelligence. And it's not something, I think I have a book on it that I bought a couple years ago. I don't know where it is. I did not read it, but on emotional EQ, right? What's it called? Emotional intelligence. And that's essentially what I say about being emotionally stable. Now, emotionally stable or unstable sounds very clinical, sounds very psychological. It sounds like these are terms that I would use because I was a therapist, but it probably doesn't sound the most positive, right? Emotionally. If I told somebody they're being emotionally unstable, they would freaking smack me because that just doesn't sound very nice. It's not very nice, but to me, I don't know. I don't want to say anything. It's just because it doesn't really have the most positive, meaning, I guess. But being emotionally stable is being able to pull yourself back up, being able to not take things so personally, being able to being like, yeah, well, you know what? I got this. It's fine. Working on your self-esteem, working on your self-worth, working on all that stuff, working on not crying at everything. And it's kind of like pulling the labels off of like being sensitive, or like being sensitive, like being vibrationally sensitive is great. Being on that sensitive side, because then you feel the emotion, right? But it's the next step of like, what do you do with that emotion? Do you go off the ledge and go crazy? No, that's not emotional stability. It's like, okay, I'm feeling a certain way, like me this morning, feeling a certain way, so I'm going to chill out. I'm not going to do things that I used to do in the past. I'm not really even going to work until I feel more. Because I was like on Facebook this morning. It's like 8 o'clock this morning. And I felt kind of a little tiny bit snarky. And I'm like, how did I get here this morning? I don't even know how I got here. I made a couple comments on Facebook and I'm like, I think I need to delete Facebook today and they weren't even bad. They really weren't. I was just feeling a certain way of kind of an annoyance of memes and people, teaching a certain thing that is just like so unnecessary and so keeps paradigms keep going and all. Anyway, this is why I don't follow that many people. But because it doesn't resonate with me. So anyway, getting back to the message, if you're doubting something, don't take action yet. So what do? You chill. You stop thinking, you stop doubting it. You know what I mean? So say you want to do something, but you're totally doubting it, or you're thinking you should do something and you're doubting it. The best thing you could do is take your mind off of it for a while until you get more clarity on it. So if you take your attention off of that something that you're doubting, you're going to gain clarity on it eventually. So follow your guidance. Allow your inner being to guide you, right? It guides you all the time on your path of least resistance. So if you feel like going, for a drive or going to the store for no reason at all, go do that. Go do that. Your guidance is telling you all the time to, how to get around certain things. Okay. But it's all good anyway. Okay, I'm going to let you go for today. I've talked enough. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.